and welcome back to Turn the Page. It's just Lola here for the intro, and if you remember, for page 3A, I ended the episode abruptly just because it was getting a bit long. So we are reviewing Piranesi still. Even though it's a short book, we had so much to say because we loved it so much. So definitely suggest you read it. So in this episode for page 3B, we will be doing plot points continued, which will include some of our thoughts, and then we will go into the long read receipts and then end with hottest book in town. Thank you. Like, comment, I don't know, all that stuff Kim says. Let's get into it.
Plot points continue.
So going back to this, like Lola says, whilst Piranesi's been in this house, there's been floods and tides and stuff like that, which Piranesi's been keeping a log of. And he had, for some reason, forgotten about this log, and then he only remembered it less than a week before the large tide was coming in. So he tries to warn Kettley, who at this point, this is when I was just like, Kettley, snake, he admits, don't worry, I won't be around. I was just like, why won't you be around? This is supposed to be your scheduled time to meet. Yeah, and I was just like, where will you be? Like the flood is going through the whole place. It's going to affect everybody. Where will you be? So he's just like, okay, you're not concerned. Then I need to worry about 16. Because 16 doesn't know what's going on in the place. She's not going to know, or he or she is not going to know about the flood. So he wants to write a message to this person about the flood. But that's when I think he finds the message left saying, are you Matthew Rose Sorensen, like Lola says? And this kind of triggers his memory of the real world. But he snaps back. Because do you remember his memory triggers where...
Because he watches her.
Remembers the rain or something.
Because he watches her do it.
And
then he follows
like,
her.
oh.
He follows her literally right to the exit and then for some reason stops.
Yeah, this just leave. Just leave. And
I think he even marks it. He even marks the way, because that's how he leaves when they need to leave. Because he marks, or something happens that he realizes that, oh, this is going out to the... And he's like, yeah, go with her.
So it's very interesting that because I was like, oh, so I think this is where he also looks up because he has an index, which is quite helpful in his journals. He has an index, and I think this is where he looks up in his index. He's trying to look for Matthew Rose Sorensen, isn't it?
Yes.
And he also looks for the terms like the other. He looks for Kettley. And I think this is where we clock that some parts of his journal have been removed.
Yeah.
I thought it was removed by Kettley, but I think the way
same.
Lola's... Oh, okay, because when you were saying earlier,
I
thought maybe he's ripped it out in frustration.
Because it was all bits kind of like that will reveal the plot to him. So, but then, so what it was we find out, so basically when Kim mentioned about all these rituals and stuff that they like to do to harness the true knowledge. This is what the cult leader was professing, and you can...
explain this cult, what they're doing. Yeah, this is a good point.
So in the disparate world, you can access... that's what we're going to be calling it, guys. So in the disparate world, you can access untapped knowledge because they're saying when ideas get retired, ideas go to this world or go to a world. So that's why there's statues of things...
Can I just stop you for 1 minute, yeah? Well done. Because I still, till this day, September 25, I don't know what so keep going. Keep going.
So they're looking for the true source because they're saying, so you can untap energy. If ideas get sent back to this place, this is where ideas... It's false, but this is what they're thinking because that's what the professor comes in and tells him when we first meet him in part 3. He's like, oh, it's false. Like, you'll never find it. And then Piranesi's like, I knew the ritual was useless. He's like, yeah, there's no point in doing it. So when the other still believes in this, he still fervently believes in this, to get these people into this world, the professor used to do this big ritual to get them there and do this elaborate thing, but you actually didn't need to do all of that hoopla, but he just needed you to believe in it enough. So he would create this big hoopla and like a literal cult ritual thing to get them into this world. So the other believes in all this mysticism as well. So he sends... because obviously the other doesn't live there, he sends Piranesi on an expedition to try and... He's finally got this new... Sorry, 1 second. they get this bright idea that if they need energy to harness this ritual, and they can harness a large source of energy from the moon. So there's always light because the place is falling apart. They need the darkest place in the hall, and because the other never travels anywhere, Piranesi is the one that has to do it because he thinks that the other's too scared to travel.
Disrespecting this Piranesi. She does point him to work.
So Piranesi wanted to investigate 16 and do all this other stuff and all his other plans, but instead he goes on this expedition. And when he goes on this expedition, one of the halls is filled with loads of birds, and there's loads of shredded paper. So he starts looking at bits of the shredded paper, and it doesn't look like his handwriting, but it looks like some of the stuff that he writes. So he he collects some of it, but he doesn't take all of them. So when he meets 16 and he sees the Matthew Rose Sorensen thing, he then goes back and he puts two and two together. Like on that expedition, he saw a bunch of old papers, and the birds must have taken the rest of the scraps. Because
they were using it for their nest.
Yeah. So he's looked at his index and realized that, hold on, like I said, that he thought he had 1, 2, 3. He actually had 21, and you could see that the 2 had been scratched off by me and Kim thought it was Ketley, but it was actually by him. So like I said, this is cycles of him realizing and losing his memory, realizing and losing his memory. So in a state of him like doing this many times, he's like, I don't want to remember again. So he destroyed all of those bits that he had written down. And when he goes back again to this place. So actually, just to touch on the expedition, he sends him to this. So the statues are normally normal statues that you'll see in museums. But when he goes to this place, this statue has bigger statues than normal. And it's the darkest room. So there's no wall windows or anything, so that he can open the door and not open the door, but look straight out through the doorway and look through the window in the hall that faces directly and see the moonlight at a certain time or whatever. So it really takes a lot of time for him to do this journey. But whatever, he goes back to get the lost pieces of paper, and then he puts them all together and he reads the bits on himself, the other people that were dead there, which includes Sylvia, who took the film, James, or not James, all the other people that Kim mentioned. And then also he realizes that there's a bit about the other where that's the bit that he had picked up initially, and he started going mad when he started realizing what the other had done to him. That's why he didn't recognize the handwriting, because he was writing it in anger. So he had gone mad and read all of this stuff. But I don't know, when he still put all of that together, he still wasn't sure.
I don't think he was sure until
he had a little bit of a breakdown. He had a little bit of a breakdown, like, he can't, because up until this point he's thought he's got this amazing memory, like this photographic, like he can think back to whatever, know the smell, time, whatever.
And he also thinks he's the beloved child of the house.
And the child, the house will never hurt him. The house will never do anything bad to him. The house provides for you. If you're hungry, it provides for you, even though he has to fish and and he nearly died one time. But and even when he was walking to this place, the reason why I think he had to get him trainers was because he didn't have any shoes for this expedition. And some of the part of the journey.
Know how bad, man, that's just the others. He knows that this guy's been walking around without shoes. He's just like, I'll give you some trainers now, just so you can do this expedition for me. Like, it's actually mad. Gosh, Lola's going through like a coughing fit, boy. So yeah, thanks Lola for explaining that, because like I said, I still don't understand why they were doing all this ritual nonsense, but we got to a point where it makes sense. So like Lola says, he's now clocked on to all these things. Like Lola was also saying, he, I think this is where he even sees the term Battersea, I think, in the book as well, in his index, and he's just like, that's what it is. And he found out that Battersea is where Ketley lives, and this is when we get into the interesting tea, because we find out that as Matthew Rose Sorensen was writing a book about arms sales and had gone to Battersea to interview Ketley about him. Mic drop. All right, moving on swiftly. So this is where we get to know what happened. So we all know that we've come to the conclusion that Matthew is Piranesi. I'm going to start calling him Matthew just because we're coming to the conclusion. We're now knowing who these people are. So he had gone to interview Kettley at his home about Arnsales' transgressive ideas. Kettley was a student of Arnsales, and this is where, when the prophet had come to, or Arnsales had come to this world or the house before, he had kind of said, he was quite dismissive of Kettley, kind of being like, almost like he's an upstart, like he thinks he knows everything now. So this is where you can see their relationship. So it looks like Kettley was a student of Arnsales and he's kind of taken things a bit further. So in the beginning, the interview's fine. It starts off normally. They're just talking, and Matthew clocks a candle in the middle. Is it in the middle of the room or the side of the room? And this is where Kettley starts to talk about, I think, because Kettley's a psychologist, and he starts to say like, "Oh, are you interested in this?" And he's just like, to be fair, Matthew wasn't that interested, was he? He was a bit like, okay, whatever it is.
Spitefulness in Kettley then, because at first Kettley didn't want to let him in. Kettley was dismissive, like, okay, whatever, I know you think I'm crazy, whatever. And actually, he was actually trying to downplay it, like, oh, it doesn't exist. But then when Matthew started talking about all the investigations he had done, he'd followed... Yes,
it was the investigation that triggered him, isn't it?
That journalist as well, who had done a lot of work and stuff, and about James Risson, started asking questions, like, what really happened? It doesn't sound real. Like, Sylvia's film that's not real film, is it? And it was Matthew's condescending tone that made Val be like, okay, just try it then. Like, obviously it's not real. Just try it. Just try this ritual. And obviously he doesn't know what he's trying.
And this is where poor Matthew gets coaxed into a ritual and he ends up in the labyrinth and he's been imprisoned there. Mad. I was just like, when I read that bit, I think I dropped my Kindle. I think I was even reading it on my phone because that's how much I got into it. I think we were driving somewhere and my husband was driving and I'd actually just dropped my phone to be like, jeez, wow.
You could tell when he started saying, I'm going to get the gun out, I'm going to kill her. And I was like, kill her. It's a woman.
Yeah.
It's like going mad. It's like, okay, now this man is actually, he doesn't give a damn about anybody. Like, this
it's just about his conquest, isn't it? It's like, he just wants to do it. And I also think Piranesi was just a what do you call him?
Because he didn't want to go mad. He didn't want to lose his memory. So I don't think he ever planned to trap Matthew. But once he had the opportunity, and Matthew's a scientist as well, he doesn't have to teach Matthew anything. He can literally just make Matthew, which is what. So Matthew thought that he was doing all the scientist quest for himself. Meanwhile, he's a scientist, but he was actually doing like a book.
He was basically an
assistant.
Writer. Yeah, he was actually an assistant.
Yeah, so it's like he's been tricked into playing Val's role so that Val can play the professor.
And when Lola says Val Kettley, that's his full name. It's an interesting name. I quite like the name as well, but he's actually a mean guy. So this whole thing has kind of come as like a blow to, Piranesi, Matthew. He's going through it, and I think this is when he like throws up when he like clocks onto like everything that's happened. He has now a proper breakdown. He loses his mind because, like Lola says, he's always thought of himself as being somebody that is beloved by the house. He's smart. He knows his stuff. And he clocks on that he's just been led astray. Kettley is the one that was driving him and saying knock 16.
He has a whole life.
Yeah,
he starts to remember.
He's just like, I was living my life. I've got family. Like, he's got parents and stuff that are waiting for him.
And he's so removed from that situation. He's like, I'm just gonna have to give that up. I'm just gonna have to become Piranesi. So you're still thinking, is he gonna stay here?
And there's a point where I was thinking, he's actually not leaving. He doesn't want to leave. And even at that point, I was thinking, was your life outside that bad? Or is it because you think I've wasted so much, like the
I think it's just when the cracked, the rose-colored glasses have come off and you're like, oh shit. Like, I'm actually, this isn't a beautiful, like you're saying, this isn't a beautiful, majestic place. This is actually a prison. And then to switch into that, then you'll actually panic. And he didn't have a way out at that point.
Yeah, so, true. Yeah, he was still kind of...
Yeah.
Because I think, you're right, because I was thinking, okay, maybe he's going to try and leave. But then actually, when it comes to this whole tide preparation, because remember, guys, there's a tide coming. There's this flood that's coming. For him, what he's actually now thinking about is, I need to save 16. Like, 16 doesn't know that this flood's coming. We also know that they don't know that Kettley, he's concerned that Kettley's going to try kill 16. And by the way, going back, guys, sorry. Another thing that made Piranesi or / Matthew's eye twitch was he was talking about 16 and the other / Kettley said she. And Piranesi / Matthew was like, hold on. How do you know that 16 is a she? Because he knows, because he's been watching her, so he knew that it was she, and he smelled perfume.
He said to her, "I saw her." So yeah.
But how did the other know? Because before the other was saying, like, I don't think the other gendered the 16, but now it was kind of like, oh, this is interesting. How do you know that? So that was something that triggered some suspicion in.
And when he said, he's like, oh, because I've spoken to her, and then Piranesi didn't say it out loud. But he said in his head, but he said, if I ever speak to 16, I will go mad. But he didn't go mad. So he's like,
yes.
So has he gone mad, or what's going on? Like, so he starts to question. He's not naive like Kim thinks he is.
I think he's naive, but okay. So, like I said, he's now in like, I need to protect 16 mode. So remember, he's already given a warning to Kettley about the flood. And what he had also done was put like a note, or I think he put like a note or some stones out to warn 16 about the flood. But then when he goes back to the area, he clocks that this has all been disrupted. So he's just like, rah, Kettley, you're moving mad, you know? Kettley's moving mad. So what he then decides to do is he gets into kind of like, I assume this is something he does all the time. So this is when he moves the bones of the dead, because he wants to move them to a higher place and a safer location. He also doesn't go to his scheduled meeting with Kettley. And whilst he's prepping, this is where he finds Kettley's gun and inflatable boat, which he notes, but he doesn't disturb, which again is why I say that, why don't you disturb it? Why?
Initially, I was thinking that, but then I was like, that's smart. Because then Kettley would have known he's onto him.
Fair.
Because he didn't even mention it. He was going to, but then he stopped himself. And I was like, oh, you're smart. You know what you're doing.
That's true. Okay.
Because I was thinking the same thing. Take it. But then I was like, oh, and you know what you're doing.
Especially the gun, at least.
Yeah.
Exciting. Because I thought the flood, he's going to figure out his way to survive because he's survived it before. But I did think take the gun. But yeah, that's actually a valid point. Leave it alone so that it's, he's not going to know. So the day of the flood has approached. And this is when, like I said, Piranesi's looking for number 16. And we also find out, is this when we find out her name's actually Raphael? We found out her name is actually Raphael. I think she introduces herself, or she says something to him. That's where we get names. So he decides that if he could find Kettley, he could probably find Raphael, because obviously Kettley's moving mad at this point. So the water's rising. He finds Kettley, who says his enemy's coming. Piranesi starts to recite his journal entry about the abduction to Kettley, and this obviously reveals that he's lost. He's revealing his lost memories, because you remember Kettley always kept saying, like, do you remember Battersea? And obviously he's saying Battersea because that's where Kettley lived and did the mad shit. So now that he's clocked on that Matthew's gotten his memories back, Kettley laughs, he dives for the gun, and then good old Piranesi kicks the gun away. But remember, these waters are rising while this madness is happening. Raphael shouts for Matthew. Kettley is fighting with Piranesi. He's able to run away to Raphael, who he leads her to higher ground. There's a point where, like, he's holding onto a statue. She's about to fall off. I swear, this needs to be a movie. Gosh, this would be so good.
At least you could visualize this whole scene. Like,
it was very intense. It was a very intense scene, because I was thinking, oh my gosh, there's a lot going on here. Like, is she going to survive? Are they going to survive? And what does dying in this place mean? So the water's rising rapidly, and by the time Kettley tries to get in his boats, the waves crash over him and toss him into the statue, and kill him.
And the death was so comical. I thought it was perfect.
I love that.
Because it was like the raft was just doing everything but coming to him until he died.
Yes. The boat just floats away.
I was like, I can literally picture this.
Away.
This was very good writing. I did think,
wow.
did he die a little bit too soon? But then we
I think
did get
it's necessary.
Yeah, we got all the backstory, so it was fine.
Yeah,
But I was thinking, I was glad he died, but did he die a little bit too soon? It was like as soon as all the revelations started happening, I was like, "Boop, you're dead."
Yeah.
But the book was short.
So then the Piranesi is, talking about the tides crashing, the waters, and then we obviously see the waters receding because it is a tide. I kept saying it's a flood. It is a tide that was coming in, and then it starts to go out. Tide,
yeah.
And then when the sea is quiet enough, he can actually finally talk to good old Raphael. She introduces herself and actually says, "Look, I'm a police officer."
So all this time, I was thinking 16 is actually someone they but it's the
I thought she was part of the cult.
Yeah, it's a complete stranger, like just doing more than most. Like,
yeah,
I kind of love that too.
I was just like, well done for you, man, because this is. I don't even know if this is
when it was like, what? Do
you
we know each other? No. I was like, what?
No.
I was like, what? I was like, so all my guesses. I thought she was someone else in the cult. I thought
she was in the cult. I thought she was Sylvia. And then we find out Sylvia's, I think, dead. Then I thought it was a family member because of the dedication to find him. I was thinking, this must be a family member. No, she's just a police officer that's going above and beyond. So we find out she's a police officer. I think at this point, Matthew had gotten injured in this whole kerfuffle. She checks his injury. Eventually, as the water lowers enough, they could check on his belongings. And I think this means that he's getting food and like using a fishing net to help her climb down. And then the birds appear. These birds, good old albatrosses and stuff. And Raphael offers to take him home. And this is when he replies, "I am home." And I was like, Lord, he's not leaving. He's not leaving. I was getting so stressed. And like Lola said, this is when you see that he's kind of refusing to fully, because I thought he had accepted, look, I'm Matthew. But this is when I'm like highlight to the point that no, he actually hasn't accepted that, look, I am Matthew Rose Sorensen. Lola said, that's my person outside, this is who I am now. So what instead he prioritizes doing is caring for the labyrinth's death, which obviously now includes Kettley. So Raphael says she's going to come back the next day, which, bless her, well done her, she actually does. Well done to Raphael. So the next day after the flood, Piranesi finds Kettley's body and actually speaks to it, explaining his plans to give the flesh to the birds and fish to eat, and how afterwards he'll care for the bones. He finds the boat and wishes it had saved Kettley. And I was thinking, this is where I was thinking about the whole Stockholm Syndrome thing, because I was just like, why do you care about Kettley anymore? I don't care about him. And is it this point that he starts to think about, is it his family? How does he actually get out? Is this when
Val dies, he's like, "Rah, I'm actually alone." He goes for a bit about like, okay, what does it mean to be with other people and stuff? So he's like, okay, yeah, no, I don't know if I can do this. Like, because before he had a purpose, he thought there was a science experiment. He was tracking the tides. He was, even though he didn't believe in it, he starts literally going through everything. And then he's like, I'll never really be Matthew again. But he splits himself into like Piranesi, Matthew, and like the narrator kind of thing, like those three kind of things. But he's like, yeah, I can't stay here if everything was a lie, and like the rose, you can't put it back on. So he goes. Initially, the straight initial reaction was, yeah, nah, I'm fine. But then it was like, yeah, nah, let's go.
Yeah, for real. Because I think that's what also happens is she comes back and
they have a little flirt.
Yeah, they have I don't know.
That's what I liked. It wasn't a real love interest, but it was like a subtle hint at it. I was like, yeah, don't make it a full-blown art.
It's unnecessary.
He's just a madman. Like, he's going to come out with
he's actually not. Remember the other guy, poor James Ritter? Yeah. So she comes back, and think there was like a bit of a suggestion of writing, because I think he wanted to write a letter to his family, basically saying like, I'm not going to return to London. And then we find out how she actually finds out about him. And this is where we hear about Angarad Scott, the journalist, that's actually been tracking him down and doing all the journals about what happened with Aunt Sales, and the suspicions about the disappearances that were going on as well. And because of this journalist, Raphael contacted Aunt Sales' circle. She was able to get like a recording of Aunt Sales talking about the ritual and how you can get into this world, and that's why she decided to do it, to get to him.
Because you don't actually need to do all of that hoopla. And so when actually in the very beginning, when Piranesi mentions to the professor there's a 16, he's like, oh, she must be like Sylvia. So he actually does. So Sylvia didn't have to do all the hoopla as well. That's why she was able to come in, she was able to do advanced stuff, bring a camera and do all of that stuff, because she did it on her own volition kind of thing. You just get obsessed with coming back and forth, and we do think she's one of the deads. So the police officer could also just come back without doing all the hoopla. Like, you don't have to do all this ritual. She can just think. You just have to think. And stuff.
The calendar, the candle. Sorry. Because to be fair, she does come back. She's like coming back and forth because she's like, I can't leave this guy here. Like, obviously she's a police officer, so she actually comes back, and Matthew gets to like show her around. Like, he takes her to like the beautiful coral halls, and he's showing her places. And bless her, I think he says to her like, did you get to see any of this? And she's like, nah, I wasn't trying to get lost. Like, I'm just trying to get you and get out. And he also shows her the dead, and this is where we find out that we think Aunt Sales probably murdered them.
Or not murdered them, but like took them to this place, and when they died...
Yeah, they died.
Yeah.
So this is where you can it's a nice rounding up of the story. And, he's going through this back and forth about whether he should leave, should he not leave, what does it mean to... I also feel like he's a bit like, what does it mean if I leave? There's nobody here. So I think he was kind of that opinion, because he loves this place and he's a beloved child of the house. But he ends up leaving in the end. But before he does, he puts some shells and stuff in his hair.
Because that's what he had, but then he took them out like a warrior kind of thing. He had these shells. That's how much because he just wanted noise, I think, because he was always interested in seeing other people. That's why he was so interested in 16. He wanted to see someone else, just in what else have they experienced in this house. He didn't even care about the world. He just wanted to see someone else and talk to someone else.
It's true. It's like, look at me, I'm a pretty little person. But so in the end, he does come out. I think that he meets his family. He's still working towards becoming himself, because obviously he's gone through a lot in there. He doesn't seem to have lost his mind, but I also think because Raphael has been in there, it's a little bit easier now for people to try and understand what's happened, whereas poor James Ritter kind of went in and got out and nobody saved him or whatever.
No one believed him.
Nobody believed him, whereas for Matthew, he does have somebody that believes him, so I'm hoping he will be integrated into the world a bit better. But that's the book.
Last thoughts.
So Lola, tell me, what are your thoughts on this book?
So obviously I loved it. 5 out of 5. I thought it was really interesting and unique and different, and not what I was expecting, even reading the synopsis. I thought it was really good. There would be weird things like highly alarming will be in capital letters and stuff like that. And what did the statues represent? Because the statues were different if you paid attention to them. So I was like, if I had time to actually think about the symbolism between that and stuff, it probably, if I read it again, that would probably be interesting to look into.
This book, sorry to interrupt you, it's probably a good book for if somebody was doing English lit.
Yeah.
You think this would probably be quite a good book for English lit?
Yeah, her uses of well, actually, she uses
imagery
capital.
And
yeah, because not English language, English lit. Yeah, it would be. And then I thought it was like you guess a bit of it, but the twists are quite good, and it's kind of like you're on a murder mystery kind of vibe. So I thought that was really nice. One of the quotes I said was, perhaps that is what it is like being with other people. Perhaps people can make you see the world in ways you would rather not. That was towards the ending of the book. So I think, it was about what it means to be in. It's like the themes of the book is about truth versus ignorance, memory and identity, gratitude, friendship and betrayal, knowledge and solitude. And I think that really capsulated, and she's done that quite well in such a short book. It's only like 250 pages. She's covered quite a lot of stuff. It's very detailed, very descriptive, quite endearing, a page turner. I was quite impressed with it. And I don't think it needed to be longer, to be honest. I would have loved to know, like I said to you before, I would have loved to know more about that background story, like the on-style story. But that could be a separate book. I don't think it needed to be in this story. I think, I would love to read something else that she's done, because, that was very interesting. Speculative fiction. What about you?
Yeah, I completely agree. I love the book. I just went to my Goodreads to see what I'd rated it as soon as I finished, and I'd rated it a 4, but I wanted to rate it a 4.5. And probably the only reason I didn't rate the extra 0.5 is because of bloody vestibules, and I didn't understand. But now I don't roll your eyes. But now I think talking through it with you, I'm like, this book is the shit. I really want to change my rating, but I'll leave it as is. It deserves the award it got, because I think it got Women's Prize for Fiction in 2021. It's such a good book. One thing I was thinking about when I saw how short it was I was thinking, oh no, it's going to be quite rushed at the ending, because we've been burnt before with rushed endings. So I was thinking they're going to rush at the ending, but I was like, no, this pacing is perfect. It is such perfect pacing, considering the fact that the beginning of the book was a lot of description and stuff, and then once it starts to get to the point where you're like, when you start doing this, this is interesting, and then there's another thing that happens, and you're like, and it just keeps going, and you're like, oh Lord. But it was like,
you're right, it starts off slow and then it just gradually picks up the pace. You're right.
And like I've probably said 10,001 times in this episode, sorry guys, I'm going to read this book again, because now that I've read it, we've discussed it, I want to read it again with eyes that actually understand little bits and pick up bits, because there were some things I forgot about, and I'm just like when you were talking about it, I was just like, oh yes, that means that, and that's why they were doing this weird shit, and that's what they were doing the ritual for. But I was so stuck on the fact that in my head it was the other Piranesi, 16, and the Prophet, this weird cult guy. That's all I was worried about. And I was trying to figure out what happened to these other cult members. But there's a lot of other stuff that
I didn't zero in on the cult thing until the very end, where they were like, oh yeah, he definitely trapped him. I still thought the professor was just like a scientist that's been they don't believe in his world and something else. But then he's not innocent completely. He don't give a damn, because he could have saved this guy when he saw him. He just said, oh, someone else's problem.
Somebody else is going to come for you, and then he just walked away. And it's the fact that he knew that Ketley did a madness. And he's just like, oh, Ketley's weird. All right, bye.
Because that's what I kept meaning when I say the ritual versus you can do it on your own, or you can do it. If the ritual, you need someone else to bring you to this world. If you do it the ritual way, but if you, Sylvia and the police officer, they don't need, and obviously the professor, they don't need someone else. They can just think into that tune or whatever he explains it, and you can just end up there. I think when he goes to visit, we didn't touch on that, but he goes to visit James Ritter at the end. He explains that as well, about why he went mad and stuff. But so it's a really good, it's such a short book. It's quite.
Look at how much we've spoken. I hope this fits into one episode.
Lol.
But I almost wish this was our first episode, because it's such a good book. Thank you, Lola, because I would never have read this on my own. And I'm telling you, when you listen to the voice notes, you'll hear my confusion. There's a part, where's a line that I was just like, what's he saying? I even read it to my husband because I was just like, Kaz, what's this book my sisters told me to read? When the moon rose in the third northern hall, I went to the ninth vestibule to witness the joining of the three tides. This is something that happens only once every 8 years. The ninth vestibule is remarkable for 3 great staircases. I was like, what am I reading?
So when that kicked off, I was like, oh yeah, cool. I know exactly what's going on. And that's how when it started off like that, I was like, I knew exactly, because literally I was like, starts off with really interesting with a description of a flood, features of the house.
Yeah, bro, I was confused. I was like, what? Why are we talking about vestibules and halls? And
literally, I knew exactly.
Happening?
I was like, oh, because she numbered things, I knew exactly, like, and she was like north, east, and west or something. So I literally could picture exactly, like, could picture yourself exactly in that scene?
I could imagine it.
Yeah,
but
because of
I was
how
confused. I was like, why am I here? Like, because like I said, I told you I was stranded on a desert island. So that's why I was confused.
Yeah, I was in a whole nother world. And I was
exactly
like, oh, is this like the real world or not? Like, so when we started talking about Gregorian calendars and Battersea, I was like, oh, okay, what the hell?
I was thinking, oh, we got albatross. Okay, those are big birds. Like, you can't just have them in a house.
So how the hell do you have an albatross if you don't have other people? And that was what was so sad when he was like, so is there more than 10 people? I was like, oh my heart. When he was asking the police officer, he was like, oh, so in the real world, how many people is there? Is there like, how many people? I'm like, oh my God, you don't know. You're going to be overwhelmed.
I really hope he's okay. Like, I know he's a fictional character, but I left the book
I don't think so, because he was already fractured walking out there. But he has Raphael, and that's what I like that. I like that it was open ended with that Raphael thing. It was kind of like, yeah, she's interested, but he is a madman.
Like, he's actually not okay. He's not okay because he wasn't gonna leave. Read receipts. All right. You know what? Let me do the bad out of the way, just because we could just go through them and move on, because
I can't believe you guys, there's bad reviews.
You guys don't know what you're talking about, all right? Gosh. All right, let me read this one. So this one is, I'm so sorry, whoever this one that wrote this. By the way, these receipts are found on Goodreads. Apologies to whoever wrote this one. I think I cut off your name. So they actually said, did not finish at 25%. I'm not an expert when it comes to authors' work. I know. To the author's work. I haven't read Susanna's well-acclaimed Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell novel. I was excited when I saw this book because it has such a good synopsis. It sounded whimsical and the cover gave me a Greek god vibes, which are my favourite. Unfortunately, I DNF'd, aka did not finish. I have checked the current ratings and I'm only the third person who gave it a 1 star.
Good. Sorry.
So this is an unpopular opinion for sure. I know many readers will enjoy it, but this review is mostly for the few people who won't. But you didn't finish. This is the thing. I get the stress, but you didn't finish. Sorry. The major problem with this book is that I read 25% before I decided to stop, and I barely understood. Brother, I'm with you. I barely understood 25% of what I read. The writing did not feel natural to me. I was confused most of the time. I'm sorry, guy, because I actually know how you felt. And although it is a short book, it was hard to go through. I could have continued for a couple of hours and finished it, but I felt that there was no point in doing that. The writing is very purple, he put in quotation marks. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that's a term in reading spaces. I felt that the author tried too hard with the descriptions and she could have used much simpler terminology to describe things. The thing is that it felt like reading a calculus book with all those numbers. The first day of the 5th month of the year that the albatross came to the southwest shore.
I love the numbers.
You know what? As much as I don't like the fact that this person reviewed it 1 star, I understand why, because I felt like that at the beginning.
Do you know what? That's like another book. What is that book? So I'm trying to get it up. That's like another book. What's it called? what? Oh, Project Hail Mary. And I love it because it's got a lot of maths in it. And I think that's why a lot of people who don't like it didn't.
I could wait. Like I understand, because I fully understand where this person's coming from, because I'm telling you, I was absolutely confused. I want to try and see if I can find the person's name. Oh gosh, what did I this? Oh, Hamad. This is a review that he did in 2020. So I can't say I related to Piranesi because I was so confused. The other characters were not given names, but were given see, if you finished it, Hamad, were given nicknames that all symbols, which did not help at all, in my opinion. I can't talk much about the plot because I did not finish it. Summary. I wish I enjoyed this as much as I wanted, but I simply did not. I believe this is an unpopular opinion and that many readers will enjoy it. Already, many readers did, but simply the writing was not for me, and I was confused for the majority of the small part that I read. Farewell, Piranesi. And that got, let's see, I think that got 229 votes and 71 comments. And somebody responded through gritted teeth, I'm so happy for you. At least make sure you enjoy it. So next time. It's just like, what? But yeah, I get it. I get why he feels like that, because in the beginning I was confused, but I'm glad I persevered. But also, I probably only persevered because I knew we were going to record an episode about this. Because I think if I wasn't reading this for an episode, I think I would have probably stopped. And to be fair, it's helped me be more open when I read other things, because I'm so glad I finished this book. So, moving on from the 1 out of 3 bad reviews, what was your top review?
I found a nice short one, but I found another longer one, but really quickly, just short, because there's loads of facts to find. Went in, so this was by Smitty1423, 7 months ago, so they read it this year. Went into this one blind and came out seeing the lights. Might have to add this to the books I have to read at least once a year. 5 out of 5.
Wow.
That was a nice synopsis. Okay, so this was by Baba Yaga's that's a little John Wick reference there. Review. Piranesi is fantasy in its purest form. It's a dreamlike tale stemming from the mind of a visionary author, an author so familiar with genre tropes that she manipulates and subverts them with incredible ease. If you, like me, have wondered why everyone seems to be at a loss for words when it comes to describing the plot of this book, be aware that you'll probably have the same reaction after reading it. There is simply no easy way to pitch it, no quick blurb to draw readers in. It starts off as a weird, albeit intriguing retelling of the myth of Daedalus's Labyrinth, only to expand into dark academia, paranormal thriller territory as the mystery behind Piranesi's existence slowly unveils. Still, Clarke steers clear of genre conventions, crafting a story whose unique plot and clever twists are unpredictable, yet immensely satisfying to the reader. Much like many of my favorite fantasy books, Harrow the Ninth being the first that comes to mind, Piranesi requires the reader to blindly trust its author and follow an unreliable narration.
It's funny liability. I love that. Unreliable narrator. He is.
An unreliable narrator. My baby. Down a path that will so endearing to me. That will eventually lead to a compelling conclusion. The journey is, however, just as fascinating as the destination. Clarke's style and narrative voice are reminiscent of 19th century English literature, adding to the otherworldly and timeless atmosphere that permeates the book. The prose is simple yet elegant, like that of a modern Jane Austen. Yes, of a modern Jane Austen. Above all, though, what makes this novel worth reading is the way it handles its themes. At its core, this is a story about the search for knowledge and the meaning of knowledge itself. Something whose immense power can only ever be fully grasped by those who do not seek to dominate it. And they read that December 2024. Has 189 likes. So yeah, everyone was like, "Bravissimo, well done! This is amazing." But they touched on a lot of the stuff that we touched on. So I think, and I found that literally just looking through because I realized you were doing a longer review. So.
Because I think the only, like I said, there wasn't many. I felt really bad because I was thinking, there's actually no bad reviews. That's interesting. So, okay, here we go.
Nitty's got 375 likes, by the way. Went into this blind came out seeing the light. So yeah, I think that I like that they only had 3 bad reviews at the time of it, right? I love that because, like you said, I think we had a good cover with the way we read books. We read quite different books, so I like that we both came out loving it.
And it's quite funny how we both visualize it differently. I think that's quite interesting how you visualize, and that's one of the reasons why I really enjoy doing this with you, because it's like I'm telling you, I can't wait for you to play some of these voice notes. I was sending voice notes like, please help, Lola. Maybe
and when I started reading, literally, and when I started reading it, I was like, what, is she stupid? She went to the bloody hospital. We should be concerned.
I was like, I don't understand. And then I think there was a voice that I sent to you. I think I sent you a message. I was like,
yeah, when you started to like it, yeah.
Now we're cooking.
Yeah.
Now we're cooking.
When was that?
That was when, it was something that the other did. And...
Not when the professor came. I thought
no.
Before. So you were still...
No. It's when... It was something the other did. I think, was it when he gave him the shoes?
Oh, so quite... Okay. Oh, no, that was in the middle of it. Yeah, it wasn't at the beginning. He also saw at the beginning. Yeah.
It was when I clocked how manipulative the other was, and I was like, oh, this isn't just the other trying to get us off this deserted island, because that's what I thought.
Okay, about halfway through.
Yeah.
So you would have been with 25% guy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I would have probably finished. I'd be like, I don't know why I was reading that.
You need to respond to him.
No, because I'm not with you, bro. I'm not with you.
Yeah, you need to think about
I'm not with you. I carried on going. Nah, so like, that's what I was just like, do you know what? Whenever I read another book, even if I was stressed in the beginning, I need to edit. Because I do that. Like,
I don't know. There's been some books where we could have completely dropped it. Like the second book of Fourth Wing, or the second Sat Wong. Like there's definitely, and you do that all the time with anime. You'll watch some silly Hanayori Dango or whatever, and I'm like, what the hell are you doing? But to be honest, you helped me, because I wouldn't have watched Bleach if you didn't tell me to just, you and someone else were just like, no, you just ignore the first couple episodes.
You can persevere.
I would have never got there unless someone else had to get there. So
You need to persevere.
Oh, it's booking time.
This episode we have The Bright Years by Sarah. Wow, by Sarah Damoff. It has just come out 22nd of April 2025. So only the hardback is available at the minute. Paperback is to be released next year. It's a short book. And it is about one family, 4 generations, a secret son, a devastating addiction. A Texas family is met with losses and surprises of inheritance, but they're unable to shake the pull back towards each other in this big-hearted family saga. Perfect for readers of Mary Beth Keane and Claire Lombardo. The main characters, Brian and Lillian, it starts off with Ryan and Lillian Bright. Well, that is the surname they choose. Spoiler. Like Brian and Lillian Bright, it's like a combination of both of their surnames, are deeply in love. Recently married and now parents to Georgette, nicknamed Jet. But Lillian also has a son from before Ryan, a secret son she hasn't told Ryan about. She does tell Ryan about. When I don't know if this is the catalyst, but when she tells Ryan, it triggers his addiction. Ryan's dad had an addiction, but he snowballs into this addiction that he hasn't told. He did tell Lillian about it. But anyway, when Georgette is coming of age, she's basically living in a broken home. She doesn't really know her dad. Her dad's a wayward man. And watching their marriage rise and fall, they rise again, and then somebody passes away. So, this leads to Georgette going on her own journey. So then you start following Georgette. So it starts off with Ryan's parents, follows Ryan and Lillian, but from mainly Lillian's point of view, to be honest, and then jumps to Georgette. You dabble when Georgette is old now, and now she's basically off. Well, I'm spoiling it a little bit. Lillian's son because she had a son, so she did have that baby. She gave him up for adoption, because the boyfriend at the time didn't want to know, didn't want anything to know. He knows that he has a son out there. He doesn't care. He has his own life. He has his own family. He doesn't really care about her because he was going to college. So he just broke up with Lillian at the time, and Lillian decided to keep the baby, but then she couldn't do it all the way, so she gave the baby up. Lillian doesn't have her own parents, so Lillian basically used Ryan's mum as her own mum, kind of thing. All that's left is Ryan's mum and Georgette, and when Lillian's son comes back into the picture, that's all they have left. Really, I mean, Ryan is there. Sorry. And then it's told from like all these different points of views, and it's quite woven well in between the family drama, and it's about like true to life kind of realistic novel about generational trauma, tragedy, addiction.
Sounds like one of those like gritty TV series that you sometimes see, like where there's just drama.
My mum would watch.
Yeah, just like
Love and Resilience. It's got quite good ratings so far. Has 4.24 out of 5 on Goodreads out of nearly 40,000. Yeah, so far it's quite buzzing on the town. I personally, I don't mind books like this, but I gave it 3-star. So I was more interested in The Secret Son, because you start off with building all about this secret son. Like I said, even when it's Ryan and Lillian, it's mainly Lillian. So I do get the addiction bit, but I don't think this was an addiction book per se. But it basically just turns into an addiction book, and that's a similar trope on dealing with an alcoholic father and him not wanting to be his dad, and because his dad was abusive as well. So that's why he left, because he got so drunk he nearly hit her. So he's like, he just gave up. So it's like, better the devil you know. Georgette was like, was it better the devil you know? So she's going through that. She isn't really that annoying teenage character, actually. You do quite like Georgette, but I didn't like. So it is drama, and then Georgette has this lovely happy ending, and I didn't like that. So that's why I thought it was really like one of those dramas that mum would watch, because it was like, it just all got tied up in a bow for the last generation.
Like a Hallmark movie or something like.
Yeah. And if it's about generational trauma, I get it, but I didn't really get it. So
but do you think it was kind of done like that because there was so much mad shit going on in the beginning? It's kind of like, okay, let's just let Georgette have something for herself. Like she's do you think it could have been like that? Like it was needed, or was it not needed at all? It could have been fine to end with, because how else would you want it to end?
Because there's this other family there as well, so there's quite a lot. Basically there's this other family, and it was so cliche that she ended up with that boy, because she blamed him for what, because he was there when I don't want to, so that's why that bit was just so cliche. Who Georgette's love interest ended up being. I was like, what? Like, I thought we were subverting from this, and then we went right back to it. And I was like, this is too poetic. But I get it. Someone needed. When I'm thinking back to all the but even Ryan had a happy ending throughout his addiction by the end of it. So, yeah, I think it was. Yeah, it literally was too like, everything's as good as it could be, considering all the madness that happened. So, especially because it was such a tragic book throughout the start. So, if it's gonna be like one of these addiction books, like Shuggy Bane and Demon Copperhead and all of those kind of books, then you need to kind of go for it rather than Train Spotting. You need to like really go for it rather than just doing it like that. So, but I thought I thought it was well paced. I thought it was a decent book, but I thought it was a tad cliche. I read it very quickly though, like in one day, and it was like, it's not that you don't need anyone, just that you don't need everyone. I think that was
that is a bar.
Yeah, that was a good quote.
That's a bar.
There was bits in the book, so yeah, but for an historical fiction, just because it started, I don't know, that's supposed to be the genre. I don't think that's the right genre for it. Let me see what Goodreads put the genre as. Historical fiction, lit fic, yeah. I don't think that's right. Just because it starts in the past, I don't. But I guess because it does go through, you do feel the time moving. That's why I said it's well paced for it to go through 4 generations in a short book. So
Okay, I get what you mean.
yeah, I don't know. I
It is history.
wouldn't suggest it to you, but it is the hottest book in town.
All right. Can you imagine? Hottest book in town. The book I don't suggest to you.
I think you would. I don't think you wouldn't mind on holiday. I think this would be a good read.
Oh, okay. I get what you mean. Okay.
Something light, not even though it's quite tragic, but something easy to pick up, put down.
And to be fair, it does become light at the end. You said and I think it's probably good for people that would want something a bit like, okay, after all the mad shit that happens, it's okay in the end. Kind of. That's
has a lot of good ratings on Goodreads, though. Loads of good reviews. So people are crying like a baby. Going through it. People are so connected to the characters. The book destroyed me. So I think a lot of people really loved the someone to outline here. I saw so many. Sadly, it was not even close. Yeah. So someone felt like me. There's a few people feeling like me, but a lot of people just focused on the addiction bit, which he did do well. So because it starts in 1958 all the way to 2019, I thought that was well done. But the actual plot, I don't know. So yeah, that's just it for me.
Oh wow, interesting. Okay, fair. So yeah, that is our hottest book in town. We may or may not do an episode on this, but we'll see. Alrighty, guys. Thank you so much, guys, for listening to this episode. I hope you had as much fun as we did recording this and just talking about this book. This was Piranesi by Susanna Clarke. Do get it wherever you can. Amazon,
must
on
read.
Kindle. It is. Yeah. Like I think this is probably what we probably need to do is like a list of like must reads. So I would agree that I could
maybe put in the title.
Yes, I might do that actually. I'll put it like star must read, and then that's actually a good point. So definitely read this book. It's very different to the other books in the podcast, and we're going to do loads of different types of books next time. What's the next book we're doing, Lola?
The next episode will be about My Sister, the Serial Killer by who's it by, Kim?
Oh, this is by Oyinkan Braithwaite. So we'll see how we feel about this one. This will be interesting. Hopefully.
Sounds interesting. Has mixed reviews.
Oh gosh, don't look at them. But yes, guys, thank you so much. And like we said, the next episode will be about the book that we've discussed. I think it's a short book, so we might even be able to do one episode again. We'll see how it goes. To be fair, I'm saying this, but hopefully when we get to editing, thanks Lola, we'll see how you get down with editing, because we talked a lot about this book. So hopefully we can fit it in the one episode. But thank you for listening, and you guys know what you need to do. Keep listening, sharing, rating, commenting. Follow us on Instagram on @turnthepage.pod. If you can find us on Goodreads, do find us on Goodreads and follow us and join along and read the books we're reading. And yeah, give us 5-star reviews, and 5 stars only, or else I will curse you. And I think we're gonna fade out with some of the voice notes, and I'm pretty sure it's just gonna be my confusion. I'm sure it will be.
Bye.
Toodles.
By the way, Lola, what is this book, please? Because vestibules, I had to Google. Like, I don't know. I don't know. It's too abstract for me. I will persevere. What the fuck is this book? What is this book, Lola? Like, remember, like, I'm just getting back into reading. What is this? What the hell is this? What is it? I've read that first couple of pages over and over again. I've had to listen to an audiobook because I was thinking, do you know what, maybe if I listen to an audiobook, it will make a bit more sense to me. Man pisses me off, the person that's doing the recording, but at least I'm starting to get it. Because in the beginning, I was just like, is this actually... what is this about? So many questions. When it was 2012, why did we go from 2011? It's just a lot of questions. You might have to be the one that does a summary, because I don't know what I've just read. I actually don't know what I've read. Oh, yeah, I'm halfway through, and I love the main character, the narrator so far. He's so cute. And the other, Kesley, he was giving me suspicious anyway from the start, so I'm glad the prophet came, or number 16, or number 22, or whichever number they are. But it looks like they're in a science experiment, and because I was wondering, how does he get all this stuff? And then I was also wondering, how do you know what a monkey is? Just by looking at a statue, how do you know what a monkey is? So, yeah, it makes sense that they're like all scientists, because he kept saying that. And also, you know, when he saw the other, or Kesley, in the very, very beginning, and he waved at him, I think he was in and out of this. Like, I'm picturing right now Inception. That's what I'm picturing. Like, they're in a dream world or whatever. And so, like, when he saw him the first time, and he was waving, and the guy didn't see him, it's because he's not really there or whatever. So that's why it takes him a while for him to understand what he's saying. But yeah, I think that's what it is. They're like in a science experiment and stuff like that. So yes, it's really interesting. And then James? I'm trying to think who he is, because he's like Piranesi or whatever is in his name, which I do believe the stuff that he knows not to be true. I do believe they're true. You know, and we know he's like got mental loss capacity and whatever, memory loss. So, but yeah, I loved it from the start, to be honest. As soon as we tried playing, I was like, oh, I love this. This is definitely my kind of book. It reminds me of another book called I Who Have Never Known Men. And what's this other book? Like, there's another book that I really like about, like, it's about like this library, the hell, like, it's about hell, and it's like a very short book, so it's hard for me to find it. But yeah, it reminds me of another book that I really love. So yeah, I'm really liking this. A Short Stay in Hell.